Welcome to National Focus. I'm Kimani. Coming up, the South African High Commission lends its support to Dominica. The Ministry of Agriculture moves swiftly to regain access to farms via feeder roads, and Create Caribbean Inc. encourages participation in History Harvest. Stay with us for details of these and other stories after this. Welcome back. The South African High Commission, based in Jamaica, has shown its support to Dominica following Tropical Storm Erica. On Wednesday, a ceremony was held to present just over $8,000 worth of building materials to aid in the reconstruction of homes destroyed by the storm. Acting Honorable Prime Minister, who is also Acting Minister for Housing, Dr. John Colin McIntyre, received the gift on Dominica's behalf.
Today, we're here to really receive a small gift from the High Commissioner's office, from the office. And of course, as she mentioned earlier on, our Prime Minister has written to South Africa and to world leaders, in terms of, how best we can partner in terms of Dominica and hands of assistance. But she saw it fit to at least package something from her High Commission to Dominica. So I want to say, thank you very much for that. And you mentioned that it may appear small, but it's not what's small, it's your heart. And we want to receive you here today, and we want to record here today that we're happy to have received what you were able to help us with today. And most importantly, you have stimulated our economy by buying from Dominica and not having to import something for us, So this is very good here. So with these few words, High Commissioner, I want to say thank you.
The South African High Commissioner, Her Excellency Matthew Joini, who made the presentation to Honorable McIntyre, was pleased to make the contribution. The High Commissioner has visited Dominica before and lent her support in other ventures. She says this time it was only fitting to divert the attention to those who suffered loss during Erica.
Last year we did something small again with His Excellency President Sovereign on Operation Youthquake. Now, and we were going to continue with him, but when we heard about Erica, we then decided to divert our plans and instead reach out to you. So really on behalf of the people and government of South Africa, we commiserate with you. But we also appreciate your strong spirit in dealing with this difficult time. Yes, and when South Africa has taken note, because Prime Minister has also written, and it has been received and is being dealt with. But we needed to be here at this time to really convey that message from South Africa.
First Secretary of the High Commission, John Kia Joseph Rabe, calls the gesture a small token of solidarity.
After we heard about the tragedy, the tropical storm Erica, so when we came here, we came with a little a token to say that we share the pain and we understand the suffering.
In the debate which followed the presentation of the bill to enact the Eastern Caribbean Asset Management Corporation on Tuesday, presentations leaned towards the abilities and primary purpose of the ECAMC. Economist Senator the Honorable Miriam Blanchard responded to concerns that the ability of the ECAMC to acquire and manage the assets and liabilities of financial institutions could prove detrimental to the state's autonomy. She drew focus to what she called the emergency powers of the corporation.
This is not a statutory body that's going to operate on its own. This is a statutory body that's going to function as part of a currency union governed by the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank.
She went on to add that the move led by the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank ought to be considered on its merit and on the bank's stellar reputation for financial management.
The ECCB is known or recognized in the formation of the European Union, there was a very interesting article, and I recall, because I was employed at ECCB back then, that the ECCB was used as a model for the European Union when they were establishing the currency union. And for us to suggest or even imply that commercial banks will be able to willy-nilly put on bad behavior, in inverted commas, is probably a little irresponsible and can put a stellar institution like the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank in bad repute.
Most importantly, she adds, as part of the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union and the OECS, Dominica must meet its obligations.
In light of the fact that we are members of the currency union, we are obligated, and it is important that we keep our commitment to being part of a group. The 8 of us in the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union, and we share one common currency. Can we really think that if there's an issue, let's assume a run on one of the banks, that is not going to affect us in Dominica? We've already established that our savings, and one of the ways in order to grow our economy, is going to hinge on our ability to attract foreign direct investment. Do we think foreign investors are going to come to the ECCU? And we are part of the ECCU, Madam Speaker. If there's any indication that there's a risk in our financial system, I suspect not, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, therefore it would be remiss of this government not to be our brother's keeper, especially after the overwhelming support we have experienced following the devastation caused by Tropical Storm Erica.
In more news, feeder roads across the country will soon be accessible to farmers post-Tropical Storm Erica. Since the August 27th storm, a number of farmers have not had access to their lands, thus making it challenging to harvest or plant new crops. In a discussion at GIS Studios on Wednesday, Director of Agriculture Ricky Brumant highlighted the damage caused to these roads as a result of Erica.
Most of them, as a matter of fact, on our count of feeder roads that have been affected by Tropical Storm Erica was about 45. Some very severely and some less severe, but nonetheless they have impacted and stymified, of course, sometimes. I'm sorry, the activities that farmers could have done after August 29th. A lot of work has been done on those feeder roads to clear them out. One case in point that has not really been looked. Well, it has been looked at, but it has not been approached because of what has happened. Is the Vauxhall Bridge in Marigot. It has been broken, and so we would have had to look at rerouting access of farmers by farmers to farms that are further up, and so but that is being looked at. The Lands and Service is playing a part, the Ministry of Agriculture is playing a part, Public Works is playing a part, and so this will be done as quickly as possible to ensure that those farmers get relief to be able to access the funds.
In addition to government's speedy response to clearing roads, the Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, made $300,000 available to the ministry with the primary objective of giving farmers access to their farms.
The FAO has provided some money, almost $1 million, for work on feeder roads. To ensure that, again, these feeder roads are cleared where government has not yet done it, and also to provide the opportunities for farmers in very hard-hit areas through the provision of small tools and inputs and other supplies to ensure that they can go quickly again into production. And so that is FAO. ICA have also provided some funding, again, to small farmers in hard-hit areas that they can bounce back as quickly as possible.
You're watching National Focus. Stay with us.
Introducing the Government of Dominica Internal Directory mobile app, available for download from the Google Play Store, One Mobile Market, and the Government of Dominica's website. Access to all ministries and sub-departments' phone, email and office addresses and websites. Simply select a ministry and the sub-department. You can dial directly from the app or save the numbers to your phone contacts. It's convenience at your fingertips.
Is my passport ready for pickup? Good. It really works.
Download the Government of Dominica Internal Directory mobile app today.
Welcome back. Following the passage of Tropical Storm Erica, support from governments as well as organizations have been forthcoming to the agriculture sector. The sector suffered in excess of $100 million worth of damage to its infrastructure, livestock and feeder road, among others. Director of Agriculture Ricky Brumant highlighted government's continued commitment to supporting farmers in these difficult times. He was part of a discussion on the agriculture sector on Wednesday.
We've been able, from a relief standpoint, to give a lot of the farmers feed and move that feed in for them, that they could feed their animals post-Tropical Storm Erica. We've been able, from the ministry, to put a quick injection of fertilizer into a lot of the farms. So we're able to give out at least 3,000 bags of fertilizers almost immediately to farmers to ensure that the nutrients that were washed away by the rains are of course being re-established for production.
A number of regional organizations have also come forward to assist the sector in its rebuilding efforts. We have
had the FAO quickly,
like Food and Agriculture
Organization quickly coming forward, the University of the West Indies. We've had ICA, of course, is a very present collaborator. We've had CADI, of course, with its regional capacity. We've had the OECS, we've had the French farmers and farmers organizations from Martinique. We've had CIRAD, which is the research institute, French research institute in Guadeloupe or Martinique, and a number of other organizations, Winfresh, who have come forward and not only pledged but given tangible support to the Ministry of Agriculture and to the Division of Agriculture to plan moving forward, but also to assist farmers. We've had the different governments, ministries of agriculture, in the regions, providing different levels of support through personnel and technical support as well.
And finally, this news time, Director of Create Caribbean Inc., Dr. Sheila Esprit, is urging the general public to be active contributors in a community-based sourcing project or History Harvest being conducted by her organization. As part of History Week 2015, Create Caribbean Inc. has partnered with the Cultural Division to create a digital research resource, www.dominicahistory.org. During an interview with GIS News on Monday, Dr. Esprit said that the History Harvest is critical in sourcing information at the community level.
What we plan to do in order to kind of get a bigger picture and a more intimate picture of those community activist elements is to do what we call a History Harvest. And the History Harvest we are beginning this week will basically feature the important personalities from select communities that we've identified based on our research so far. Those communities include Maho, Grand Bay, Atkinson, and Portsmouth. And so far we're beginning with going into those communities and talking to people we've identified through our conversations with historians and with other people in the communities who were influential. And then we're also inviting the general public who may not have a very big event or a very big political story or anything like that, but who want to talk about their experience growing up during that time, how they felt as children growing up. Their everyday experience is also very important to the story we're trying to tell, how they grew up, what they did when they attended school and so on. So we're trying to capture that through the History Harvest, and for those events we're encouraging the members of the community, the invited guests, to bring along any photographs they have, any old newspapers that they held on to, any memories they have that they want to tell us, and we will record and digitize and do all of that at the event and make those available on the website as well. So there will be some documentary elements to the website, including and oral histories that we will have transcribed. Those will be added to the website as well.
She notes that the History Harvest is not just for those at the community level.
People who may want to participate who lived in Grand Bay or Atkinson, for example, but now live overseas or have moved to somewhere else and cannot make the events are always welcome to submit to our site. There is a Tell Your Story link on our main page. And if you go to that link, you can make a guest login and submit your information. And that information can exist in multiple ways. It can literally be you writing up your memories with some information, or it can be submitting files such as scanned photographs with some kind of identification, or it can be through our contact form where you say, well, I have something I want to contribute. Can we meet or can we coordinate in order to get those documents? So that Tell Your Story page can be used for any of those purposes, where people from all around the world, Dominicans who have stories to tell about that time period from anywhere around the world, can contribute to this project.
Dr. Esprey reminded the general public that dominicahistory.org was created to be a resource for all.
The one important thing that I mentioned when we launched the event, and I want to remind the general public about, is that it is a site that is made for students by students. So Dominica State College students who are the interns at Great Caribbean have been influential in finding the material, cataloging the material, analyzing the material, and making it available by building these tools and using the software and manipulating the software in interesting ways. So I think one of the things that it immediately does is generate interest from the different students by, well, students can do this, so can I. So they will also want to be very interested in how do you make something like that, and then they become invested in the work. And we've already managed to go to several schools to present the website. So we visited a number of schools and had schools to attend our launch event, and the Division of Culture also has representatives going to schools as well to talk about the site. So we've been out there talking directly to students, and I know they have questions, they're already interested, and they're very excited about the fact that they can find the information in one place. Now, this is not lazy homework, right? They still have a certain responsibility of how to use the information, and I think it will encourage the students to be more responsible with how they do research online. It's not just simply going in and typing on Google. They will have a format, they will have a process that they have to follow. There will be information for them on the website for how to properly credit information when they use it from the site, and it will also point them to different resources that are not just on the site that they can go to and find more details. So it is a hub, yes, and it makes it accessible for them in a way it hasn't been before, but it also tells them and encourages them to go to the library, to go to the National Archives, to go to the resources that we do have available, but helps them sort of refine their way that they use it and be more aware before they go there to really understand what they are looking for.
The Ministry of Health wishes to inform the public that as a result of the recent heavy rains, that pipe-borne water may become contaminated. The ministry advises that water from the pipes should be boiled for drinking purposes and making juices. When the water begins to boil, let it continue to boil for 3 more minutes. If you do not want to boil the water, add 8 drops of household unscented chlorine bleach to 1 gallon of water and let it rest for 30 minutes before drinking. You should also boil the water before making ice. Freezing the water for ice does not kill the bacteria or germs. Boiling and chlorinating the water will help to prevent gastroenteritis, a condition that causes irritation and inflammation of the stomach and intestines. Remember, your health is your responsibility. You're watching National Focus. Coming up next, Creole Highlights with McPherson St. Luce.
Alors tout le monde, bienvenue à ces nouvelles en créole. Non, moi, c'est McPherson St. Luce. Premièrement, le ministre de l'Agriculture a commencé à distribuer un gré pour habitants Dominique. Parole celle-là sortie du directeur agriculture, M. Ricky Brumand.
Nous, chaque appel Dominique, on dit on pile un gré. Différents gouvernements, différents mondes. Nous tapons au gouvernement Morocco, on nous dit 9000 sacs à gré. On peut parler de sacs à gré qui ont 100 livres. C'est pas ces petits sacs là. So, nous avons 9000, c'est ça, pour planter Dominique. En bas, nous avons 20 000 sacs à gré à taper. Nous avons commencé à mettre ça en différentes plantations Dominique. Nous continuons à faire ça pour ces mois-là qui sont venus. C'est à ça là, nous ni pour planter, mais c'est pour programme ministère agriculture. Là, il y a différents gens qui tapent, si planter qui tapent pour ces jardins, c'est gens qui vendent les marchés, ces villages-là, les marchés Roseau, Guantans, Marigold, qui tapent aussi. Mais nous qui faisons sentir qui, gens qui vendent dans l'autre pays, vendre dawi, exporter dawi l'autre pays, qui taper pour plantation pour faire synthé ça un produit assez manger pour export.
Monsieur Brumman, quand vous mettez pays qui assiste Dominique et puis c'est produit ça là.
Nous avons remercié ces agence là, gouvernement Morocco pour qualité assistance pour planter Dominique. Planter ça parler avec officier extension pour taper plus d'informations qualité aguila nous savons ça qui aguila bam ka banou c'est pour banane avec figue et pas aller pour chou ou dachine ou ben yam ça c'est spécialement pour figue avec banane.
Alors, nouvelle département pour empêcher l'abaissement de drogue Dominique conversation en communauté qui bien affecte notre culture Erika, quand on dit que danger de drogue et puis alcool, et puis manière pour agir combattre mauvais temps, il y a expériencer. Si l'on coordinateur du département Salah Jacinthe Banes, plusieurs communautés en Dominique te visiter.
Drug Prevention Unit, nous fait un marché en la commune, nous allons les Petites Savanes, nous allons les Font Saint-Jean Bagatelle, nous allons Good Hope, nous allons Dublin, Coliho. So ça nous dit après en tant qu'on Erika, en Tropical America, mon union en l'eau la pèse. Et puis ça nous a dit c'est mon là même si vous traumatisé et pas pour yo point drogue et ben alcool puis ça passe à solve the problem, soulager le problème là. So même si vous faites ça problème à style là, so ça nous a dit c'est pour yo stop ou ça boire et puis fumer cigarette et bien marijuana ça yo point ben si c'est cocaïne yo point pour peine yo puis ça pas ça fait rien pas yo. So ça nous a dit yo ne pour taper alternative ou ça pour yo faire même si en shelter yo ça venir ensemble yo ça jouer domino yo ça coude yo ça li bayon de l'autre yo ça dit l'histoire ou ça venir le bagage yo ça dit. So ça nous a dit c'est mon en commune pour nous rebuild Dominica nous n'est pour ni bonne santé nous n'est pour ni bon mémoire so nous pas ça en rester assis coupon problème nous que aller comme ça so tout le monde pour venir ensemble pour faire quelque chose pour mener place là en manière.
La nouvelle ministre santé qui travaille et puis management Solid Waste Dominique pour ramasser toutes vieilles bouteilles plastiques qui en environ là. Parole ça la sortie du secrétaire parlement en ministre santé Honorable Ivor Stevenson.
Nous avons autant plastique. Et ça a salé Yvon, et a salé la et puis nous avons fait chaîne Dominique en place qu'on nous dit en anglais green and clean. Et puis nous avons dit Dominique c'est un pays qui est bien net. Et puis même instant qu'on nous a dit ça, nous voyons qui c'est des fois bouteille ça pas descendre à Yvon. Et puis ça nous a fait dans le ministère de santé spécialement et puis Solid Waste Department nous avons monté en petit factory pour couper toutes ces petites bouteilles ça là en petits morceaux pour nous exporter hors Dominique. Mais à ce programme ça là nous avons outils différents communautés là et puis nous avons dit ces villages là pour assembler toutes ces bouteilles ça là à une manière pour nous mener à la landfill là font coller et puis Solid Waste Management Corporation you can mettre ça dans notre factory pour qui couper dans des morceaux.
Et puis finalement, ministre Telecoms Honorable Kelva Darrow, quand encourage le public là pour faire vidéo pour monter Dominique, quand service système Telecoms qui est établi en jardin botanique. Sinon, Honorable Darrow ça même c'est bon opportunité pour ces Dominicains là.
C'est une opportunité pour eux et puis ça m'a encourage encore, c'est les gens venir là et puis ou les promos Dominique ou ça fait une vidéo Hot Gardens là, Nature Island là et puis ou ça voyez vidéo là Hot Facebook, Hot Instagram, Hot YouTube et puis c'est gens qui en l'Amérique, gens Hot Europe, yo toute place ça là. Yo c'est yo ça voir vidéo ça là et puis ça encourage you pour venir au Dominique.
Messieurs, mesdames, ça c'est tout pour nouvelle en créole pour à présent. Non moins, c'est McPherson Luce. Au revoir.
Coming up, how to lessen your intake of salts. When it comes to dietary sodium, less is certainly best. Diets high in sodium increase blood pressure levels, which damages the kidneys over time and is a leading cause of kidney failure. To help reduce your salt intake to the ideal 1 teaspoon per day, here's a tip. Use fresh rather than packaged meats. Fresh cuts of beef, chicken, or pork contain natural sodium, but the content is still much less than the hidden extra sodium added during processing in products like bacon or ham. If a food item keeps well in the fridge for days or weeks, that's a tip off that the sodium contents is too high. And that's all for this edition of National Focus. We always welcome your suggestions and comments. Drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm or visit our website news.gov.dm. Like our Facebook page, facebook.com/GIS News Dominica, and follow us on Twitter at GIS Dominica. You can also catch up on past National Focus newscasts on our GIS Dominica YouTube channel. From all of us here on the GIS News Desk, I'm Kimani. Thanks for watching and join us again next time on National Focus.